You let your country down, they chanted. England till I die, they shouted. The far-right protesters were shouting these as they clashed with the police as more than 80 arrests were made. I'm going to read into this from Sky News, you guys. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is REGANELITE here. With an article from Sky News with the headline that the far-right protesters were shouting "England till I die." Clash with police as more than 8 arrests made. Suella Braverman is facing accusations of inflaming tensions after accusing the police of playing favourites when they've restricted pressure to ban a march pressing for a ceasefire in the Israel-Hamas conflict. Well done, Home Secretary. You've done it. You've incited violence. And we all knew this was coming. And this is coming because of your actions. But she doesn't care. She won't care. She won't see this. Nor will the chances of her making a reaction to it. She won't see this video, but she'll certainly hear about this. And she will be laughing, smiling, giggling. Because to her, she just sees them nothing more as pawns. Now I'm going to play a little bit of the clip, and I've had to move it. I can't show you the full clip because there is violence in the clip, but from this point to the end, I want you to hear the chanting, and I want you to have a good look at some of the faces out there for me. You make your country now! 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 What I noticed is pretty much nearly all of them are men, all white, many quite old, but what's more terrifying to me is that I've seen in some of the actual clashes there's some young men who have been, whose minds have been poisoned by all this, who read these papers, watch these news, and believe the lies, believe that people are coming to get them, that they're coming to take their jobs and take their lives, and all this nonsense, playing into the hands of the right wing. And it's I can't tell you how sorry I feel for them, and I really do feel sorry for them. Why do I feel sorry for them? Because racism is not something you're born with. It is taught. Hatred is not something you're born with. It is taught. Sexism is not something you're born with. It is taught. All these things are passed on by somebody. And that's what keeps happening. We're passing on these negativities to our next generations. And we wonder why we can't have more peace in this world. Because we have those in power who want us to fight amongst one another rather than challenge those who intend to do us harm. And the Home Secretary, Suella Braverman, at this time of the recording, excuse me, has only one intention, and that is to seize power. And she is intending to do anything and whatever it takes to do that. That's how it comes across to me. A intentional appeal to do whatever it takes. And it really is hurtful, to say the least. And I just hope that she doesn't get that power. And I'd like to think that Rishi Sunak will remove the whip from her, so that she gets kicked out of the Conservative Party. Because if she has the whip removed from her, and she doesn't get it back until the general election, she won't be able. She will lose her seat because someone else will be in her place, and she'll be gone. Because that's what we need. We need her removed completely from Parliament. That's what we need. She's far too dangerous of a person. Far, far too dangerous. We have to have her removed. But Sunak appears to have the goal to do it, at least right now, at the time of recording. Now, yes, of course, not everything has started from her. I believe a lot of it started from Boris Johnson and him being able to do and get whatever away with things that he has done. The 10 years of austerity that's been posed by the Cameron Osborne era. There's been a combination of things. There's no denying that. But this is things are going to get worse before they get better, is the saying, and things are reaching a really, really low point for England right now. So far-right protesters have clashed with police in London as thousands of people join a pro-Palestinian march in the capital. The Metropolitan Police said 82 people have been arrested in Pimlico, central London, to prevent a breach of the peace. The force says those detained were part of a large group of counter-protesters which have been monitoring, who have tried to reach the main protest march. It comes after there were violent scenes in a large mob of people carrying St George's flags were seen walking along Embankment and shouting "England until I die." A line of police attempted to stop them reaching Whitehall, but the group pushed through with some shouting "Let's have them" as officers responded with batons. Absolutely ridiculous. There was also trouble. Yeah, that picture here is a large group of far-right protesters detained at Westminster Tube Station. And here trouble was also flaring in Chinatown as well. Bottles was also thrown at police by counter-demonstrators, many of whom were wearing masks. Of course, because they don't want to be seen. The confrontation happened shortly before Amnesty Day 2 minute before the Amnesty Day 2-minute silence, where hundreds of people gathered at the cenotaph to commence the UK's war dead at 11 AM. The service passed off without incident. Stephen Yaki Lennon, also known as Tommy Robinson, the founder of the English Defence League, has called for his supporters to mass in the capital. He was amongst the crowd with former GB News presenter Calvin Robinson. The Met Police posted on X, formerly Twitter, while the 2-minute silence was marked respectfully and without incident in Whitehall, officers have faced aggression from counter-protesters who were in the area in significant numbers. The force said it would use all the powers and tactics available to us to prevent the counter-protesters from confronting the main march, calling for a ceasefire in Israel's war against the military group Hamas. There were later further clashes in Chinatown when missiles were thrown at police while a large group were detained following trouble at Westminster Tube Station. It is understood the group of about 100 people were being held under powers to prevent a dispute. There have also been several other arrests, including one suspect detained on the suspicion of possession of a knife. The main pro-Palestinian demonstration, expected to be attended by more than 500,000 people, has drawn criticism from the Prime Minister and Home Secretary because it coincided with Remembrance event. But they're marching for peace, and we've talked about this already. And it's important to highlight that they are marching for peace, guys. So there is more than 500,000 people were expected to attend the pro-Palestine march. Suella Braverman has faced accusations of inflaming tensions after accusing the police of playing favourites when they resisted pressure to ban the march, calling for a ceasefire in the Israel-Hamas conflict. In the face of the confrontation and calls for Rishi Sunak to sack her, Ms Braverman subsequently expressed their full backing for the Metropolitan Police and a meeting with the Commissioner Sir Mark Rowley. But in the wake of the trouble, London Mayor Sadiq Khan wrote on X, "The scenes of disorder we witnessed by the far right at the cenotaph are a direct result of the Home Secretary's words. The police job has been made much harder. The Met had my full support in taking action against anyone found spreading hate and breaking the law." Scotland First Minister Hammer Youssef said, "The far right has been embroiled by the Home Secretary. She has spent her week fanning the flames of division and now attacking the police on Amnesty Day. The Home Secretary's position is untenable. She must resign." More than 1,000 police officers have been drafted from outside forces to monitor the protests, with the Met saying 1,850 personnel would be on duty, and 1,375 were on Sunday. The route to the pro-Palestinian demonstration was from Hyde Park to the US Embassy in Vauxhall, south of the Thames. Many of those taking part carrying Palestinian flags and placards with slogans such as "Free Palestine and End the Siege," while chanting "Ceasefire now." Even though the march was not intended to go near the cenotaph, an exclusion zone was in place for Whitehall and other nearby areas, while the monument will have a decorated 24-hour police presence until after the Remembrance event on Sunday. Additional protest powers are also in place, enabling officers to search anyone with a designated area for weapons and remove face coverings. A dispersal zone in force for key central London locations including Trafalgar Square and Piccadilly Circus. A key concern of the Met was to avoid clashes between marchers and counter-protesters. Yeah, that was my main fear. Deputy Assistant Commissioner Lawrence Taylor said, "Our job is to ensure that we police without fear or favour, that we balance the rights of everybody, be that protesters, counter-protesters or people living or coming into London. And our job this weekend is to ensure that people are kept safe, and that's what my focus is on." Meanwhile, protesters at a number of London train stations have been banned, with prohibiting orders in place at Waterloo, Victoria and Charing Cross between 10 AM and 11 PM on Saturday. Transport Secretary Mark Harper, who approved the move, said, "Undersea Day is a moment for solemn national reflection in remembering those who have given their lives in service to our country. It's important that people use our rail networks to safely travel free from intimidation." Well, based on this, guys, I don't think we had that. Obviously, as the time of the recording, I'm recording this at 3:25 PM on Saturday, just for reference, in case anybody's wondering if there's been updates since then. But yeah, the Home Secretary must go, guys. This is absolutely just deplorable, and we were expecting this. This was going to happen because of her words and the incitingness of tension and flame. And once again, I deeply sympathise. I sympathise with the peaceful pro-Palestinian protesters. I deeply sympathise with the police there who were involved, and I hope nobody has been seriously hurt from both the protesters, the counter-protesters, and the police. I really hope that. I mean that, because I don't wish harm on anyone, even if they intend to cause harm. I wish it upon anyone, guys. I really don't. So I hope the police are there's no serious injuries or worse for any police officers there, and hopefully the police keep it under control. But yeah, once Remembrance Sunday is done, yeah, the Home Secretary needs to go. No, I don't just mean resign. I mean like the whip removed from her, completely ousted. You know, a new Conservative MP takes her spot at the general election. Hopefully, I'd like to say sooner, but she's got to go. She's way too dangerous. We can't have her in Parliament. We can't have her anywhere near power. She's far too dangerous, and she's prepared to do absolutely anything to seize power. What do you guys think of it all? What do you make of the far right protesters? Let me know what your thoughts down in the comment section below about what's happened. And what do you think the Prime Minister should do in this current situation? Like, share and subscribe. Thank you very much for watching if you have, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.